In this video, I'm going to do my best to simplify sales as much as possible. And hopefully, by the end of watching this till the end, you'll realize and understand that there is kind of no magic pill or no single line that you can say that's going to get somebody to buy or that's going to transform your sales overnight or your sales process. The reality of sales is that it is a process that you run every single day. If you stick to it, it's only going to get better over time. Also, something else with sales is that not a lot of people realize is, let's say you've got 10 calls booked in your calendar, right? And you run the first six. Nobody signs up. Nobody. You don't close a single deal of the first six calls that you have. Or like next week, let's say you've got 10 calls in your calendar, you have six and you make no sales. You probably be a little bit panicky. But if you follow the same process that you run, and the same scripts, the same frameworks, the same offer, and all of that, and don't change anything and keep going, and you have another four calls, and then all four of them sign and close and you make a sale, that would indicate a 40% close rate, which in the sales world, that is very good. Like a 40% close rate is kind of crazy. And what a lot of people would tell you at that point, including Alex Hormozy, would be to raise your prices if you're at a 40% close rate. Okay, so anyway, that's just kind of something to think about. So the entire process that I like to think about that's helped quite a lot of people is this. It's 8 steps, quite straightforward. All you want to do is have the prospects identify their problems, explain the solution that they want, why they want it, both a tangible and an emotional level, the consequences of not achieving that solution or dream outcome, and at this stage you want to build tension as to what happens if they don't hit that. What happens if nothing changes for X amount of time? Then you want to go into what they've tried to achieve that dream outcome and why they think it didn't work or why it failed, what they think they need by giving them examples of what you offer, because then it leads into your Grand Slam offer and why yours is better than your competition. Go into any objection handling that you need and then close the sale, which will then go into a sale or deal closed, anything like that. Okay. So all it is going from there to there. Okay. This kind of branches off, obviously, because by then you should make the sale. On this aspect here of the why they want it, both on a tangible and emotional level, and the consequences and building tension, something really important here is that the pain and the tension for them has to be, and only for them, only for the prospect, not for you, only for them, has to be enough for them to want to move forward, make a change, and fix the problem. Okay, and then on this aspect here of what they think they need, that's when you want to kind of spoon feed them suggestions like accountability, having the right structure or program, technology, whatever it might be, that are all centered around your offer and what you do. That then allows you to transfer into your offer and explain why it's better than what they've tried in the past and why they failed with what they did there, and why your offer is exactly what they've been looking for the entire time, because you're going to relate it back to what they've said they want in that previous step. From here, that's when you want to go into your Grand Slam offer and ideally close the deal. So I'm going to use a couple examples here. I've got a fitness example and a sales coaching example as we go through each step, okay? And then the Grand Slam offer framework in here for you guys in order to instantly transform your offer into a Grand Slam offer that more people will say no to, because you could have the best sales process in the world, but if you have a weak, boring, or popular offer that lots of other people have, then you probably won't close the deal anyway. With a Grand Slam offer that has their dream outcome, increases the perceived likelihood of achievement, alleviates that time delay, and alleviates the effort and sacrifice required, you have immense value, and you can't objection handle your way out of a shit offer. Excuse my French, but at the end of the day, if you have a really, really strong offer, you'll be able to avoid objection handling 9 times out of 10 anyway, and the deal typically will close itself, okay? So go through this in a bit, but anyway, with each section, I'm going to go through 2 different examples. So fitness and sales coaching. All right. So let's start off with number 1, identifying their problems. So fitness, they could be, overweight. They might be unhappy with how they look and have low confidence. Sales coaching, they might not be earning what they want. They're sick of getting on calls, feeling like they're doing everything right and they still don't close. The solution they want is to lose the weight and look and feel good, or close more of the sales that they already get, have a predictable income. Okay. The tangible why for fitness might be they want to actually fit their clothes again, hit a goal weight, look good on holiday, look good in public, have that confidence back, that type of thing. And then sales coaching, they might want to hit their target, be at the top of the leaderboard, more take home if they're on their own business, something like that. And the emotional aspect is when you really want to like stab the knife in and twist the knife. So I'm not going to say this, but something that Layla Hormozy says, Alex Hormozy's wife, There's a video of her talking about how she sold fitness to women, and something she would say is, do you turn the lights off when you're in the bedroom with your husband? And obviously, I would never be able to say that. I never would say that, but that's just immediately kind of stabbing that person, having a bit of a, super, super in-depth emotional conversation with that person. And if they do that, it's like, yeah, wow, you understand me. And I'll have to find a clip of it and weave it in somehow. Anyway, I won't go into that with the emotional mind fitness, but in sales coaching, maybe they're looking to provide for their family, never go back to a job. Maybe they want to stop feeling like a fraud who's doing everything right and still failing. I had a conversation with someone last week, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. The consequences is something that you want to then build tension with the prospect to say, okay, well, look, what if nothing changes, for another 6 months or another year? And that's when you tie that back into the emotional why. And the reason why you ask this question straight after the emotional why is because that's fresh in their head. So it might be, another year gone, I haven't lost any weight. Maybe they're putting on more weight, more distance from their partner, or they still don't have a partner or something like that. And their confidence is continuously eroding. With the sales coaching side, maybe they're burning leads, they're doubting themselves and might have to quit and go back to a 9 to 5, which is every entrepreneur's worst nightmare. What they might have tried and why it failed. Had a chat with someone selling a fitness offer, and they were on a call with someone who downloaded a $50 one size fits all PDF, which is like a meal prep. So like women in their 40s or something like that. And obviously it didn't work. It didn't change anything really. It was just a one size fits all. It was crap. And the question that they asked in the sales call was, okay, why do you think that didn't work for you? The prospect kind of laughed and like, no, seriously, why don't you think that worked for you? And they were like, oh, it didn't have the accountability. It wasn't really built for me. It wasn't custom, and it was very hard to follow because it didn't understand my dietary requirements and my foods I like, my workout plan, my life schedule, what's available at the store and the shops and the grocery stores for me and that type of thing. Okay, so that's when you want to go into what they think they need. It's like, okay, so what do you think you would actually need to lose the weight, to achieve your dream body, to achieve dream outcome, whatever their dream outcome is that is tied to your offer? Would it be that accountability and that structure and that kind of plan that you mentioned you were lacking in everything you've already tried? Nobody's going to say no to that, right? So you're building a bridge between what they've tried, why they think it didn't work or why it failed, and then the other side of the bridge of where they might get to, which is where their dream outcome lives, is what they think they need, which is tied into your offer. Okay, so for sales training, something might be like, okay, well, what do you think you'd actually need to hit 20K a month in sales, or hit that 40% close rate, or hit commission of X rate? Perhaps that accountability and that structure and that actual live feedback on calls and a proper program that you said you were lacking. They're going to be like, yeah. And then it's, okay, why do you think that would be helpful for you? Why do you think that would be important for you? Then they'll go into X, Y, Z. So anything else you think you might need? And then that will all be then flowing into your offer. So then that's what they've done there, is essentially describe your offer back to you. And that's your cue to be like, okay, well, do you mind if I talk a little bit about what we do and how we might be able to help get you there? Then they'll obviously say yes. Then you go through your offer and say, okay, blah, 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 whatever your offer is. And then on the offer element, that's when you want to build your grand slam offer, which we iterate and we put so much emphasis on because it is so important. And without a grand slam offer, you are literally shooting yourself in the foot and not closing as many sales or doing as well as you potentially could. Okay. If you want to maximize everything at the top, which is the dream outcome and the client's or prospect's perceived likelihood of achievement, and you want to minimize the bottom. So minimize the time delay that it's going to take them to get there and minimize the effort and sacrifice. Sales training, as an example of dream outcome, might be for them to hit a 30K month, as example. And you want to increase their perceived likelihood of achievement. The way you do this is by showing case studies and reviews and things like that of everybody that was in a similar position to them that has achieved their desired outcomes. So you remind me of Joseph, who went from blah, blah, blah to blah, 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 and now they're at blah, blah, blah. We had a very, very similar conversation 6 months ago and said very similar things to you. That you also remind me of 20 other case studies that I've helped, something like that. And just showing video testimonials, reviews, case studies, other people just like them who have achieved that. And then the time delay, say, look, most of the time, fitness programs don't give you that one-to-one accountability, that structured program, that structured plan. Going to take so much longer for you to get there. What we're going to do is put in X, Y, Z in place in order to get you there a lot faster. And the effort and sacrifice is something like, you're not going to have to go and watch 35 YouTube videos for an hour learning sales and having to go do door knocking for 6 months and things like that to like have human conversations. We're going to completely speed run that and accelerate your growth through X, Y, Z. So you don't have to, and then you insert something painful that they would have to do. Okay, and then all of that together is immense value. These are the 4 levers you can pull: scarcity, urgency, bonuses, and guarantees. Okay, so scarcity is something like a cohort. You say there's 3 spots in the cohort, for example, our closest cohort, because we need to only work with 3 people at a time to give them time and attention that they need to actually get the results. Urgency, saying that next cohort starts on X date, like August 3rd, for example. And then bonuses, which is when you want to stack the value. Instead of just having it as one big package, you want to separate everything that you offer. And I'll show you an example. Pretty good example. This is what Alex talks about. So don't just sell like one thing as one big package. These are all different stacks. You might be a product, any bonuses, templates that they get, community and support, and maybe a customer service manager or something like that, client success manager, stuff like that. So for example, one of our bonuses is the Alex Hormozy AI business coach, as a random example. Okay. If you have a weak offer and you're kind of hard closing and being confused about what's going on, it's typically quite exhausting. I know exactly what you mean and how you're feeling. A grandson offer with this exact process, the sale typically closes itself. Okay, so here's the flywheel again, if you want to take a screenshot or whatever and kind of study this. And here's the process examples on 2 different offers, and here's the Grand Slam offer framework as well. So I hope this helps, but that's the best job I can do at simplifying sales. People often say they don't really have a framework or a process or anything like that. All of this flywheel as you're getting started or wherever you are in the journey, and I guarantee but it'll help. If you want to drill this, jump on our calls on Thursdays, and we can go through it with your offer specifically and do a couple run-throughs and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that helps.